really looking forward to this time together with you, Oakland Worship Center. It is so much more fun to worship with you. It is so much more fun to pray with you, draw close to Jesus with you, and at the close of our time to celebrate with you. We're going to remember the gift of Jesus's life, which was given for us, for me, for you. And so you're going to need the bread and the cup of communion for the conclusion of the sermon. So if you need to run away real quick and get some bread, get some juice, you can please go get that now. And then, but let me just say, all the reuniters, we're just so happy about this growing friendship between our two church families. We want as much time as we can get with you in the coming year because we think you're pretty great. So more of this to come in the new year. If you have a Bible, you want to turn in the Jewish scriptures to the book called Isaiah, chapter 9. And if you've got a hard copy Bible, there's probably a table of contents in the front or even in the app. But you want to find Isaiah, chapter 9. And both of our churches are in this church season of Advent. And it's so fun that both of our churches are open to an Advent conspiracy. You may already know that the Christian season of Advent, it's meant to give us just weeks and weeks and weeks to prepare our hearts to celebrate the arrival of Jesus, the liberating King. But it's also an Advent conspiracy. And I've got a sick sense of humor, so I don't know about the Oakland Worship Center folks last week, but when we introduced even this word conspiracy, I enjoyed seeing certain people, like their eyebrows went up, like, conspiracy? Seriously? Like, with all the weird stuff floating around the internet, all the strange stuff that my crazy aunt posts, we're going to go with conspiracy this year. Really? You couldn't have picked a better word for that? But yeah. Hopefully, you'll see in the coming weeks that the world really needs a new kind of conspiracy, an Advent conspiracy, where you and I work conspiring with others so that Christmas can be what it's supposed to be. This Advent, the conspiracy is to do four things. Someone say worship fully. Worship fully. Someone say spend less.
Spend less.
Someone say give more.
Give more.
And finally, love all.
Love all.
Today is going to be about spending less. And lately, God has been drawing a connection for me personally between my spending and what makes me afraid. I want to show you this Advent artwork that was created by the artist Scott Erickson. And as that comes up on the screen, notice the infant Christ within the lion. Notice the words that are draped over the lion's head. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. That could be another really great way to say Merry Christmas this year. This week at the checkout line, if somebody says Merry Christmas to you, you respond with, be not afraid. And they'll be so confused, and it'll be just this fun private joke that nobody else will be in on, but you'll have fun. But as I've been dwelling on the Christmas story, it's been speaking to my fears. Like in Isaiah 9, if you're there in a Bible, Isaiah 9, this is where we're told about this child who's going to be born into the world. And if you have a Bible, you'll want to find verse 6, where it says, "For unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Father from all eternity, Prince of Peace." And then there's that line right there in the middle. The government will be on his shoulders. And those words, on his shoulders, that's where God's really speaking to me when it comes to my fears. So many of us, we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. But this Christmas, Jesus wants you to know, no, the government, it's on my shoulders. We don't carry this. The fate of the world doesn't rest on the shoulders of whoever holds public office. It doesn't. If this year all the political strife has really been getting to you, hear the word of the Lord. The government does not rest on the shoulders of the people who are named on CNN and Fox and NBC. Parents, that child that you're really worried about right now, their destiny does not rest on your shoulders. Our cities, our neighborhoods, it doesn't rest on our shoulders. Reunion and Oakland Worship Center, they don't rest on the shoulders of the church's leadership. All of us rest on the shoulders of Jesus of Nazareth, the liberating King. But even as you hear that, is kind of objects, like we're not supposed to give that sort of thing up. We have a hard time releasing control. Do something with me on Zoom, on Facebook, on YouTube, in the chat window. Type one thing that you carry on your shoulders. When you think about carrying the world on your shoulders, what's one thing that you would say? Yeah, this right here, that's what I carry on my shoulders. And while you're doing that, I'll give you my example. In my family, I am the oldest child. Any other oldest siblings out there? Yeah, there you are. So if you're the oldest in your family, then you know you're the one who's supposed to fix everything. If something goes wrong, it's up to you to take care of it. And so I've grown up my whole life being a fixer, being a solutions-oriented person. And I even carry this into how I pastor. I'm terrible at asking for help because the oldest child in me says I'm supposed to be responsible. I'm supposed to take care of it myself. So other people, what you carry on your shoulders? Chase says college athletes' futures and careers. Yeah, Coach Chase, he's responsible for a lot of athletes. Jabbar says family's health. Yeah. Michelle says being a wife and a mother. That's a lot on your shoulders. Daniel Berna Hicks says, first American in my family. I'm supposed to live the American dream. Yeah, okay. There's that unique immigrant pressure that gets put on you. Kiana says, trying to fix everyone's problems. Yeah, these are good ones. Keep it coming. This is great. For all of us, Chris Williams says, I'm the eldest. Yep. So shouldering the responsibility of making sure family's set up for success. Joyce says, feeling like she's got to be the role model. Calvin says, taking out the trash. Yeah, Calvin. Angela, trying to heal Joyce. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, so we're all carrying different things on our shoulders. And if that's you this morning, Isaiah 9 says, the gospel for you and I is that the weight of the world is not on our shoulders. We really need to hear this, especially when we're faced with how broken the world is. When we come face to face with how broken we are, I can't fix me, and I can't fix you or anybody. Here's the good news for me and for you. The weight of the world, it's not on our shoulders. It's just not. The weight of the world rests on the shoulders of Jesus of Nazareth, he's our liberating King. And the Christmas story, it's also been speaking to my fears through the mouths of angels. Angels is another way to say messengers. Did you know that in the Christmas story, 4 times you hear angels saying to people, be not afraid? When you're reading the scriptures, one of the things you want to be looking for is the exhortations. You're looking for the commands. And reading through the Christmas story, it really struck me this year, there's only one command. And it's just one. It's the words, be not afraid. Zechariah hears the angels say, be not afraid. Your prayers have been answered, Zechariah. For a really long time, you and Elizabeth, your wife, you've been praying that you could have kids. Your prayers have been heard. But Zechariah, don't be afraid about how this prayer gets answered, because you're not ready for this. That's what the angel says to Mary. Mary, I know this whole virgin birth thing is so unexpected and strange. You are pioneering new territory, girl. But nothing is impossible for God. Be not afraid. It's what Joseph hears after he finds out that Mary, the woman that he loves, the woman that he's betrothed to, she's pregnant. And he knows it wasn't me. How disrupting. How deeply disappointing. Just imagine the betrayal that you would feel So Joseph, he's pondering a quiet divorce. But the angel comes to him in a dream. Joseph, be not afraid. This strange thing is actually the work of the Holy Spirit. God is in this. Be not afraid. And then the shepherds, on the night of Jesus' birth, they hear angels announce to them that a new shepherd, the king that our world really needs, has been born into the world. So shepherds, you can rejoice. You can be not afraid. Now, why did all these people in the Christmas story need to hear these words, be not afraid? What was the cause of the fear? Was it the messenger? Or was it the message that was being carried? Lots of people will tell you that it's the messenger. I mean, after all, like, what's it like when an angel shows up? They'll say that's the fearful thing, when an angel shows up. But what if when an angel turns up, what people are really afraid of is not the messenger, but the message that they're carrying? Because the message that these people are hearing is your life is about to change. What if that's why they need to hear, be not afraid? Reflect on your own life for a moment. We've all had these different moments, where things were changing, these pivotal times. When was a moment in your life when you knew, my life is about to change, or it is changing right now, and I'm just kind of waking up to that? Knew my life's about to change. I'm sure this group has some great stories about that. So we're actually going to go into our breakout groups once again for about 8 minutes. And so there's time to hear maybe 2-3 stories. So share with your group a story about when you knew, my life's about to change. So we're going to go to our groups now. And if you're on Facebook, please put some comments in the comments section about when you felt like your life was about to change, and we'll interact around that. Okay? So ready? Let's go to our breakout groups. And everybody on Facebook and Facebook friends, give me an example of when you knew that your life was about to change. Love to see that. See that? Oh, yeah. Okay. So Steve, when's the moment in your life when you knew your life was about to change?
So it just reminds me of when my first daughter was born.
Yeah.
You know, you hold her in your hand, and at one point, you're like, oh, this is so precious and so forth. And then you realize, I'm really a father.
Yeah, okay.
How do I take care of and provide for this little baby and not break them? You know, everything is different. I often say marriage doesn't change you, but kids, they change. Yeah. How about you?
Man, yeah, I had that moment of my life's about to change building David's crib. I hadn't met him yet. Sarah was still carrying him, but building the crib and just like visualizing there's going to be a baby in there, and I'm going to be responsible for him.
It became real,
Yes. Wendy, how about you? A moment when you felt like my life's about to change?
I would just say when I first got married. I don't been married once. Hopefully I'm married. But when we got married,
hopefully I'm the only husband.
The first time you felt it.
I've been a very independent person all my life growing up and everything. Just don't really need a lot of people. Just can do my own thing. And then when we're getting married, it didn't hit me until the day of the wedding that, oh my God, there's going to be 2 of us.
Yeah.
He has to like me and I have to like him all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. It's like, oh, so for me, it was just like, this is a new direction in my life.
Yes.
And with that came many things, babies, all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
How about on Facebook, a moment when you felt like your life was about to change? We're looking. I see there's I think a comment by Chris Williams, but I can't see it. Is there a way to expand that? I think Chris commented, becoming a father. Yep, Chris, me and Steve are with you. Yes. Sherry says, when Mr. Butler at Piedmont Avenue Elementary told me the school was blessed that I was there. Wow.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, you're
makes a difference.
Yeah, you're like, this is heavy. Some big things happening around me. Oh, wow.
That's really good.
Sarah, a moment when you felt like your life was about to change.
Yeah, for me, planting reunion was 100%. And there have been many moments like that. There's different seasons where we go through where this is going to change in a new way, or this, and just having that sense of like, we've had a dream deferred and now we're stepping into that dream. Yeah. And then also the sense of that responsibility on our shoulders is like, we want to shepherd and care for people well, and we want to be good stewards of all the gifts and the resources that God has given us, and like we just want to honor God, you know, and having that weight. So for me, that was definitely a life changer.
Yeah,
cool. Kiana's chimed in.
Yeah, Kiana says when I got married. Oh yeah.
Yeah. As well.
Demetrius, how about you, man? Come on up.
Yeah.
Moment when you thought your life was about to change?
You know, when I got married and had kids.
To your first wife, right?
No, neither of those things happened. No, probably coming out here, moving to California. This was a big move for me. I'm from the East Coast, Virginia. So, like, building community again, coming to OWC, being far, far away from family. I knew this was like a new, big change happening in life. That it's one of those things you either run away from or embrace.
Yeah. Anybody else on Facebook? This is good stuff. How much more time we got, Anthony? 4 minutes? Okay, all right.
4 minutes?
Yeah. Sherry, do you mind commenting a little bit further when you're saying at Piedmont Avenue being told that, you know, it was a blessing that you were there? Rachel, comment more. And then Cecilia says, becoming a Christian and getting baptized. Yeah, that's huge. Like, okay, what now? Rachel says, when I started to get more responsibilities at OWC before I didn't realize the impact of serving. Yeah, it's changing you. Yeah. Oh, this is good. Becoming a Christian. Yeah, Cecilia, any more on that? Becoming a Christian, getting baptized. So love to hear more. And then realizing the impact of serving. Yeah, feel free to elaborate. I'd love to hear more about what that felt like. Chris, graduating college. Yeah. First one in your family in 45 years. That's huge. Yeah. You're not just carrying your own story. You're carrying the story of everybody who's come before you and is coming after you. That's heavy. Yeah. That's heavy. Yeah. This is good stuff, guys. Anybody else you feel free to elaborate. There's some great stories here. These are great examples.
Yeah, I think for me though, just thinking and hearing you talk about this is that these moments they happen over and over again.
Yes.
Like when you think you finally got it under control, there's something else.
Yes.
Another moment that changes, and that whole weight of the world comes back on your shoulders again, and that whole need for be not afraid comes back again.
Yes.
So it's like you never conquer it. You just have to keep dealing with it over and over again.
Yeah. Tony says, when I was baptized at Union Baptist Church, 1997, you remember the year? That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Sherry, I had been made aware that I had ignored the spiritual part of my life. Yeah.
That's Sherry with her deal with Mr. Butler.
For many years, Mr. Butler is the janitor where OWC meets. Okay, so he's watching you. He's paying attention to your life and just he's getting to know you better. And then he's realizing, man, it's a blessing that she's here.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
That's great. That's great.
So good.
Yeah. That's good.
Keep it coming.
Yeah, keep them coming.
Keep it coming.
Yeah, I know for myself too, like I echo Sarah. Man, when we launched OWC, I was terrified.
Yeah, like, wait, I asked for this, I wanted this, and now here I am.
Now here it is.
I don't know what I don't realize what I was asking for.
Right. Like they say, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, like, I got it.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's huge.
You know, and then with my personality type, it's like one side is, okay, I got to make this work. I got to be successful at it.
Yes.
And then the other side is, I have to shepherd and lead and so forth. Yeah. Care about people. And it just, it's really scary.
Yeah.
And you feel everything on your shoulders as well.
Yeah. And you're like, there's a lot of things I don't know. There's a lot of new territory. Crystal says, when I got engaged. Oh, yeah. That's a big moment. Yeah. Sherry says, so he told me about OWC and now I'm here with you wonderful souls. Man, that's so great.
Bless you, Sherry. Thank you.
I love that. We
think you're pretty cool too.
That's so cool. He was watching your life. He knows you're a blessing. And all the little just pivot moments in our life that like don't seem like that big of a deal, but then you look back and you see just this like journey God had you on that, man, if this hadn't happened and this opportunity hadn't opened up, or if I hadn't met this person, my life would look so different. Yeah, Cecilia says, changing my old ways, learning to forgive, having faith. That's huge. Those are big threshold moments.
Yeah, those are big moments.
Yes.
Yeah. Your life's going to change. Exactly. Exactly. And so just getting to that point of being able to forgive is huge.
Yes.
It's huge. And sometimes you just have to keep claiming forgiveness until you actually do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a tough place to be in.
Yeah. Crystal says, going to be a wife like Pastor Wendy, I'm also very independent. Now I've got to cook and worry about another person.
Yes, she did. Right. She recently got engaged. Crystal did. So yeah. It
is going to change you. It is going to change you.
Yes.
Yeah. You think you're a pretty great person when you're your own roommate all by yourself, and then you start to share your life with somebody else, and you're like, man, I have some very strong opinions.
Should we tell her that she said yes and it changed? When she says I do, it's going to change again?
Yeah, true.
Should we not tell her that? We should keep that part a secret and don't just put that out there. But yeah, it changes again, Crystal. And then, of course, as we've all said, when the kids come in the picture, it changes again. Mm-hmm. Those are big changing moments in all of our lives, for sure. For sure.
Oh, jeez.
And those moments where we are kind of apprehensive at best and afraid as well. And this word, be not afraid, becomes really important to hold on to during those times. Yeah. Hey, looks like we're coming back.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds great. Congratulations on getting engaged. That's awesome. So, all right. Well, just waiting for folks to come back from their rooms. Rich, your beard's looking great. It looks like you've trimmed it a little bit back from last week, but it's going. Yeah, your face is my beard goals. Well done, well done. To Bones, is Hope there? Is Hope running around?
There we go.
Somewhere. Doing something. All right. Jason, good to see you, man. Jim, good to see you. Hey, Jung family. Brandon, great Home Alone Macaulay Culkin impersonation on Instagram earlier today. That was fantastic. Well done. All right, everybody. Hope you had some great conversations in your group and heard some really cool stories about where you just go, okay, yeah, I'm not the only one who's felt that or thought that or had to go through that. With these moments when our life is about to change or it's been changing and we're just realizing it, when you're in that moment, did you need to hear the words, be not afraid? I know I would. I know I have. When you're moving into a new chapter of your life, you've got to leave behind this previous chapter that was predictable and you knew what was what. But before you step into the new thing, there's this strange and uncomfortable in-between space. It's like you're leaving one room, but you aren't yet in the next room. You're crossing the threshold, and just for a period of time, you're in neither of those rooms. Anyone in here know a thing or two about in-between space? You'd say, yeah, that's my life right now. I'm in some in-between space.
Yes.
This pandemic, this entire year has been one global in-between space of change and uncertainty. You're like, who's my president going to be? And am I still going to have a job? And, what's going to happen with my family? And what are the rules now socially and how I'm supposed to move around my neighborhood and shop and get things done? Like this whole time has been one gigantic in-between space. And during that time, you just feel really exposed. You feel vulnerable. You feel jittery and just anxious. If any of those feelings have creeped up for you at different times, you're not the only one. But then in that in-between space and the awkwardness and the uncomfortableness of it, that's when the reflex kicks in to hop on Amazon and make an impulse purchase. That's when we go to the outlet malls and we spend way too much money. That's when we DoorDash ourselves some comfort food. We spend when we're afraid. Our life is changing, things feel out of control, so we reach for what we can control. I can spend. I've got this purchasing power, and that power, it makes me feel like I have some control. This is something that I can predict. I can manage it. I can it and wrap my mind around it. Spending can even feel like we're getting some stuff done. I got that thing for the house or for my car or for a friend of mine. That feels better than just waiting around until we finally know what the new normal is. It feels like we're getting stuff done. Even if I go into debt, I know why, because, it was because I made purchases. So even in that, I still feel like I'm in control. But that control that we feel, it's an illusion. It's just a quick fix way to feel better, but it doesn't really change anything. And this Advent, Jesus wants to give us a different kind of Christmas. Jesus wants to rescue us from the illusion of control so that in this in-between space, he can teach us the life of faith, of trust. Jesus wants to save us from constantly reacting out of that impulse, that reflex to just spend money as a way to feel like, oh, I'm getting stuff done. I'm maintaining control when everything around me is so uncertain. Jesus has a better way for you and I to celebrate Christmas, and it has a lot to do with spending less. So we're going to spend less so that we can discover there's actually other gifts that I can give to people. We can give ourselves to people. We can be fully present to them. That's such a huge gift in our distracted world. And if we are spending less on things that we don't need, if we give more of ourselves to others instead of these ridiculously expensive purchases, now our wallets are freed up to be able to bless and to love people in our neighborhoods and in our circles who are really vulnerable, who are really in need. We can have a different kind of Christmas where there's this margin that allows us to bless and look after others. It can be a Christmas that's not marked by fear, but it's marked by generosity. It's marked by love. What would it take for you and I to actually give this a try? There's three things for us to consider in this, three kind of criteria that can kind of help. One is questions, another is pride, and another is limits. Someone say questions.
Questions.
This Christmas season, let's get into the habit of asking some more questions before we spend our money. Questions like, what's the history of the products and the companies that I'm planning to make purchases from? Are they ethical and just when it comes to how they treat their workers and how they do their production? And when it comes to care for the earth, are they considering any of that stuff? Who should I buy a present for? Am I just doing this because I feel like I should? Or do I actually have like a significant relationship with this person? What are my core values? And are those values being reflected in what I'm buying? Someone say pride.
Pride.
This Advent conspiracy is going to start to feel like a better way to do Christmas. If you give yourself to this in just a matter of days or weeks, you're going to go, wow, this is refreshing. This is liberating. This is life-giving and good. And when this starts to feel like a better way to do Christmas and you look around at everybody else who's just frantic or working themselves into debt, or it's easy in that moment to feel superior to them. To think that now, I get it now, and all those other people, they don't. But Christmas pride is uglier than your ugly Christmas sweater. So resist pride by embracing humility. This conspiracy, if it really is a good thing that's meant to be shared, the only way it's going to grow is if you and I are winsome. And if we're inviting other people to experience the freedom and the liberation and the life that we're discovering. Someone say limits.
Limits.
Let's know our limits by creating a gift budget that we stick to. Before we make any more purchases or this week, let's see if we can even make some adjustments to our gift budget so that this could be a debt-free Christmas. But then let's take it one step further and let's ask, how can I budget for generosity? How can I have margin and space to be a blessing? With the money that I'm saving, how can I now redirect that towards those who are vulnerable and are in need? That's where we're going in the very last week of Advent Conspiracy, the fourth one, love all. We're going to be asking as churches, who are we going to bless? Who are we going to serve? Who are we just going to knock them off their feet because they just can't believe the gift that came their way because we were able to save and have margin and say, God, what do you want to do with this? Within your family, if you don't do this, this is a really helpful practice that you could try out this year. Within your family, consider drawing names. instead of this family pressure to buy everybody a gift, what if instead you got to focus on one person in your family and just get them a really great gift and then just not worry about the rest, because everybody has somebody that they are assigned to. As a group, if you did this, agree on a spending limit. As a family, this is the cap and no further. And talk early about this. Talk openly about this with your family. You would be surprised how quickly that your family would begin to understand your motives, to realize, oh, they're not. It's not like they're a cheapskate or something. They're wanting to do this in a wise way, and wow, we could really like focus and love just one person in our family each. That could be really cool. You'd be surprised how this actually would be come as such a relief to other people who feel like I've got to go into another debt-filled Christmas. That you bring this up and they're like, I'm so glad you brought that up. That sounds wonderful. Let's do it. Do something with me. In the chat window, please answer this question. Of those words, questions, pride, and limits, which ones of those speaks to you the most when it comes to spending less? Questions, pride, or limits? Which one is God talking to you the most from? At the end of the day, this conspiracy that we're celebrating, it's the birth of our liberating King. That is the point. That's the reason to this whole thing. And the beautiful thing is that liberated people who've been set free by the liberating King, they can spend less, which then sets us free to worship fully and to love others. We can have a different kind of Christmas. One where Jesus is leading us into this in-between space where we spend less. This is new territory. This is uncharted. We haven't done Christmas this way before. It's going to feel new. It's going to feel a little strange. It might even feel wrong at times. But Jesus would say, be not afraid. And why do we not need to be afraid? Because Jesus has come. And he is with us in that in-between space. You and I are not alone in this in-between space. Zechariah, Mary, Joseph, the shepherds, they all experienced the God who is with us in this in-between space. And that's the story that you and I step into when we have our own uncertainty. We can experience, I stepped into this in-between space, but God was with me. He's teaching me faith. He's showing me that he is enough. Jesus was so committed to being the with us God that he actually became one of us, one with us. This flesh and blood human who's familiar with human brokenness, familiar with our fears. And so to remember Jesus now, we're going to take the bread and the cup. So if you have those, please hold on to that. Hold on to the bread and the cup of communion. Jesus said that every time that we take the bread, we can remember his body, which was given for us on the cross. And every time we take the cup, we can remember his blood given for us on the cross. In other words, my brokenness, your brokenness, the brokenness of the world, it's not on our shoulders. The bread and the cup can remind us of this every single time. It's not on my shoulders. It's on the shoulders of Jesus, my liberating King. He took it on his shoulders, and then he took it to the cross. And then he said, it's finished. That brokenness doesn't have to hold any more power over you. Why? Because the tomb is empty. Be not afraid.